All right, so just confirm with me that you all can hear me fine. Caleb mentioned that you were hearing some static in the last session. Are you all hearing me fine? Let me get some yeses in the chat so I can be sure that I would have sorted out the problem. Yes, no static at all. Right, good. Great. Good. Good. Right, good. All right. Good. So continuing. So we were looking at buying a franchise. So when we buy a franchise, give me some examples of what, let me know, let me see what you all know what is a franchise. Tell me some examples of a franchise. What is a franchise? Right, good. Starbucks, KFC, Subway. Okay, yes, Shanice, yes. Clearly we have some Starbucks fans and then we have some KFC fans, right? Mm-hmm. Any others? Shanice says Starbucks and KFC, so we know where you like to eat. Leandra, Burger King, Pizza Hut, Bath and Body Works. Yes. Rituals, TGI. Good. So you all accept that a franchise is Aldo. All right. We know where Shanice like to shop too. So a franchise is uh, an organization, a company, and another one is Subway as well, that has a presence, whether be it locally or internationally, that that can come into a new territory through the ownership of um, someone local or another group or another entity. So, for example, Prestige Holdings, they are the local agents for KFC and Pizza Hut and Subway. And then we have the what's the name of the is it Global Food Brands? Can't recall the exact name. Let me see if I get the name. But they are the owners of Pizza Hut. Sorry, not Pizza Hut. Pizza Boys, Walk and Roll, Donut Boys. So those are companies that have an existing framework. They have a specific look, a specific structure, a specific service delivery. There is no ambiguity in what they do, what they sell, and how they sell. And they now can sell you or can give you the guidance of how to execute on this copyrighted and owned um, product or service, and you now get the opportunity to operate and run. So understand the management is provided by the owner. So the franchise is owned by KFC or Pizza Hut or Burger King or Starbucks or Aldo. Aldo owns the franchise. All right. You now get management help. So it's a real huge boost where you don't have to do any thinking. You don't have to do much creation. What you do have to do is you have to put out money. You have to put out significant amounts of cash to be able to meet the demands and meet the needs and meet the requirements of the franchise owner. The franchise owner, for example, all of these are food examples except for Bath and Body Works, but it's all the same. The franchise owner, for example, would tell you what your counter needs to look like, what your store lighting needs to look like, what your walls need to look like, how you merchandise and shelf your inventory, how you uniform your staff, how you actually go about your day-to-day functions. And that's why you see there's a disadvantage where there's a lack of control. So you cannot control many aspects of the operations of the franchise. You are literally being told what to do, and how to do, and when to do. But you do get monetary gains as a result of operating it. So that's buying a franchise. So Royal Castle is another local franchise. Um, Rituals is a local franchise. I'm thinking of other local franchises. Um, perhaps I'm just saying, perhaps there may be a time now for pharmacy to become franchise where you may have a particular brand that is known nationally, um, and now it rather than that brand coming in and putting all the investments in a particular community, uh, a, a, an entrepreneur or an entrepreneurial group can go to that brand, that local pharmacy brand, and pitch to them a proposal to execute on rolling out their franchise in a particular area. It's something I don't think this has been done. It might be a good idea because I can think of one, two, not the big box chains I'm speaking about, two locally um, homegrown and long-standing pharmacy brands in Trinidad and Tobago, community pharmacy brands in Trinidad and Tobago, that may be open to an idea of 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 being franchised out. So that's just a local uh, relevant example to our course. And lastly, is participate in a business incubator, which is a shared office space management, support services, management advice. Um, so those are the four options that you can engage in owning or in getting a new business, ways to become a new business owner. The business incubator is, let me see if I can explain this as simply as I can, where you have, uh, there was this place in Movie Town in Port of Spain that was renting out office spaces, and they were giving other support as well to the entrepreneurial to the business that can help with development of their brand and their identity, and actually even in service delivery as well. So all of those are options for creating or becoming an entrepreneur. And on slide 23, you see the 5 stages of growth for an entrepreneurial company. Um, are we going to spend some time on this slide? Because this is an important slide. You see the axis, that is the size of the company on your vertical axis, and on your horizontal axis, the age of the company. And as the company is very young and as the company is very small, you literally have to exist. Now, I'm saying this from the perspective of this is not just a money value, because being small and being young can also mean you have some huge cash backing behind you. I'm just saying, for example, um, one of the Virgin Group's business ventures, for example, Virgin Galactic, where the Virgin Group is now trying to develop and create space tourism. So the Virgin Galactic is small relative to what it can become, and the age of the company is pretty young. So although it may have maybe 2 billion in startup capital, it's still very young and still needs to exist. And I'm comparing that to a very small local enterprise. That's you could just say we could yes, we can call it your pharmacy, right? I was going to use something like a parlor, but we could say yes, a pharmacy. It's very small. It may have a very small amount of capital invested, and and you need to exist because you are now trying to establish a product, a service, a brand. So you have to exist. And existing would sometimes mean, for sure, you're not making any profit. And two, sometimes you're running at a loss. And you're just there, you are just trying to remain open every day. Next, we have survival, which is a little more advanced from existence. Your company is growing, the size of your company is growing, the size of your revenue is growing, and you are surviving. You are being able to pay your bills, you're being able to have maybe a very small operating margin. And then you move on to success. Success is where you're starting to see some exponential increase in the size of the company relative to the time. Again, guys, we're on slide number 23, right? And you are now getting a larger amount of revenue in a shorter space of time. That's when you are now starting the success stage. And right after the success stage, you are taking off. So you're still on an exponential growth. You're taking off, as in you're in your the amount of revenue you're getting in 1 month during this particular time period. You had to get this amount of revenue, or you never got this amount of revenue in your earlier three stages. And then you're now going to be at a point where you have resource maturity and you have revenue maturity. And sometimes they also refer to this last stage as the maturity of a company and also the plateau phase. So we start off with incline, exponential, and plateau. Let me put that in. Incline, exponential, and plateau. All right. So those are the stages of an entrepreneurial company, and I want you all to be aware that at all stages you need to have your head on your shoulder. At all stages there must be some level of planning. At all stages there must be sufficient amounts of leadership and prudent managerial practices to be able to transition from existence all the way to or plateau phase. And when you are at plateau phase, it's now another opportunity to look at your product, to look at your service, to now again re-engage the stage, re-engage growth of your company. I want you to imagine, because all of you would have done mathematics. So we're starting off at an incline, then we plateau, sorry, starting off at an incline, then we go exponential, then we plateau. And when we plateau, if we do certain things to our company, then we can start off on an incline again, then go back exponential, then go back plateau. Now that's how we would like to have our business timeline look like. The reality is, and we spoke about it yesterday in Farm Admin, There is something called entropy. There is something called natural death and decay. We can deal with natural death and decay if we're talking about a particular service or a particular product. It does not mean that your company has to naturally go through death and decay prematurely. We can do things to give your company life, to give your company relevance, and to go back on that path of growth. All right. So good. Planning, as I just said, planning goals and deciding on tasks. And just remind me again, goals and objectives should be. What do we mean by smart? Tell me while I speak. Goals and objectives should be smart. As the organization grows, formal planning is not instituted until around the success stage. That's right, formal planning. Formal planning of sit downs and documentation, etc. But planning must be existing from before. You must sit down and plan on a business while you are existing. Planning must be continuing to transition into the success stage. And I'm encouraging you all to have continuous planning throughout your stages of business growth. All right, specific, measurable. Teresa, what's going on? You missed all the others. Shakila got them all correct. Shakila, good. So goals and objectives should always be specific, measurable, time, attainable, realistic, and timely. So small businesses need to be. Oh, sorry. On the planning point, a business plan is a living document, and that alludes to the fact that I'm saying it's something that is continuous. It must be something that can adjust and change. It must be something that's constantly looked at. All right. Small businesses need to be web savvy. Small businesses need to embrace the World Wide Web, embrace technology as a cheap point of pivot to put you in better positions. Technology, social media, and I want to mention again, I'm giving others, Teresa, you're giving others a chance. All right. Next year they take behind you for saying that everybody's bright. So just careful, they don't come down with like a Mack truck on you for saying that. Um, so I was saying that social media is all part of social media is all part of um. All right, okay, Teresa, I understand. You didn't mean it like that. Okay, okay, I was just being a bacchanalist. Um, social media is a very very important tool in today. This is probably after this slide would have been done in 2008. The social media was now developing, and social media is huge. Social media is easy to use. Social media is so cheap to use. I don't know if you all remember earlier this year. Um, there was a local company that had some real issues with social media being um, being able to operate freely in our country. And as as a small business person, I want you all to be aware that this was a big business person, a big business enterprise that was talking about social media, who's another big business, yes, but they're talking about this social media being able to operate and roam free. Do you all remember who am I speaking about? Which big enterprise complained? Which big enterprise was complaining about Facebook and complaining about WhatsApp and complaining about Instagram, complaining about YouTube, complaining about um, Twitter, but more so Facebook because Facebook actually has the hogs share of advertising. in the world right now. And I'll give you all some quick facts about it. But tell me before we move on, which local big enterprise, and you can make some guesses, it's easy, complained to the government and complained generally at a business meeting about social media being able to operate freely without paying taxes, without anything in our country. Which is it? Guys, gals. Okay, Teresa, you can take it away. Shakila, give me a try. Kavita P, Kavita R, Samantha A, Samantha C, Shanice, Leandra, Jahil, come on. You all fall asleep on me? Caleb, Alyssa, who we talking about? Who we talking about? Teresa, yes, well, you have the answers. Come on, come on. Internet working slow. Google not, I'm giving you these answers. Hmm, just not fast enough to answer, sir. Nothing? Maybe you're not searching the right words. Alistair George. You make a wild guess, Alistair. Yes, you're correct. You're correct. Savga, which company, which conglomerate are we speaking about? Alistair, you're correct. Yes, yeah, but yes, they are the primary owners of a conglomerate. Jahil, he was complaining about you're not listening. Yes, Kavita P. Yes, Biana, Guardian Media. They were complaining that Facebook and other social media platforms were able to advertise freely in our country. Well, not freely. They were able to, yes, they were able to use Trinidad and Tobago free of charge, meaning they're paying no taxes to Trinidad and Tobago, but we can operate we can operate here and they can operate in the country without having to register. Facebook doesn't have to register in Trinidad and Tobago, and because it's an online platform, it's so interesting to think about. Here you have a US based company that, because it's an internet based company, um, they can come into our lives without having to physically have a presence, provide us, provide us small business, provide us small entrepreneurs with an opportunity to advertise at a cost that is a fraction, actually not even a fraction. You all could check it for yourself. A Facebook post that can be boosted, or a Facebook ad can be boosted for as little as $1. Let me repeat that. A Facebook post can be boosted and appear as a sponsored ad on your feed for as little as $1. So for $5, which is 35 TT dollars, you can have a Facebook post that can reach thousands of people over a period of a few days. I've done it and it has worked tremendously. It has worked excellently. Now compare that with Guardian Media or the Trinidad Express or CNC3, how much they cost to do advertising. And I can tell you, local media, local media costs are in the thousands. Kavita P. When Guardian Media comes with a social media app, that is yes, yes, Kavita P. You're correct. When they can come out with an app, but then again, look at it. Let's just look at it. For Guardian Media to actually have an app that could charge us $7 TT to boost, how are they going to do it? This is so interesting and so nice for us to think about and brainstorm and discuss. It would mean now Guardian Media had to have an app. That means you had to download that app on your phone. Um, yes, Kavita P. So although So what advantages do you have for having a Guardian Media app on your phone? I have an old iPhone and it doesn't have much space, so I have to limit the amount of apps I have on this. What does Guardian Media do for me per se? Um, I, I generally don't read newspapers as much as I used to. Um, Maybe I don't look at local news as a much. What reason would I need to have a Guardian Media app? But we all have a Facebook app. Well, most of us. We all have a YouTube app. We all have. Well, some of us have Instagram and Twitter apps. Some of us have other apps that are. We have a WhatsApp app, and those are available because those are there because we use those apps very frequently for communication, for entertainment. So understand that that globalization and technology, this is a real prime example of how globalization and technology can put small business in a better position to compete and to not have to put on their monthly expenses $2,000 or $3,000 to. Yes, yes, they do. They have to come up with a solid business plan, but the reality is, uh, are they such um, a relevant entity that persons would want to download your app? You would see, even we're looking at we know we know discussing apps and its relevance, and there are apps such as Food Drop, there are apps such as pickup, taxi service apps. All of these are apps that you keep on your phone for use, and but how much use do we get out of it? The amount of traffic that Facebook and WhatsApp, the amount of traffic that Facebook and WhatsApp has and YouTube has, it is very easy. It is very easy for them to now use that platform for further income generation. And I want to tell you all this. Do you know that when coronavirus hit in March, it started to really lift up in the world. People were closing down. People weren't getting revenue. Do you all know how much revenue Facebook generated in the period of, I believe it was about 1 month. Can anyone tell me how much revenue Facebook generated in a 1 month period or in a maybe 1 or 2 month periods in the height, in the peak of coronavirus in the States and in the world? Tell me anyone. Why our country's resources and revenues declined because our energy sector was closed, our manufacturing sector was closed. Here we have a technology giant, and they were able to increase revenue. Let me see if you all know. Let me see if you all know this. Do your Google searches quickly. Tell me, guys, how much money Facebook made in that short space of time during the peak of coronavirus. Teresa, like leave us. Biana, you had a correct answer just now, so you might have another correct answer again. Shahil, I know you're always with us. Shakila, I know you're always with us. Leandra, yes. Shanice, give me some answers. Katrina, Caleb, Alyssa, give me some answers. Kenzie, you're being vague. You're being a little ambiguous there, Kavita P. All right, nobody knows. Yes, about Biana. You see. I hope Kavita P and Jahil. I hope you see how Biana is being measured. She's actually put in a very realistic figure. Katrina, come on, 1,000 billion, 100,000 billion. That's almost a trillion, and 100 billion is the overall net worth of Mark Zuckerberg. I think it's more than that. 5 billion, Caleb is saying. Any more answers? Any more tries? 18 billion a month, realistic? Possibly. Yes, very realistic. So let me give you the answer. No more answers, right? No more answers. So Facebook was able to generate 50 billion. Beta, beta is very specific. 18.7. 15 billion USD. Kavita R, you were very close. You were very close. It was 30 billion US dollars within the space of 1 to 2 months. I just have to confirm that because they were creative, because they were innovative, because their revenues increased because of advertising. People were not much on the road. People were right here where we are on a screen. They were on their phones ordering stuff, getting delivery. We'll talk about TikTok after Karina. Katrina. Is it have I been saying the wrong name all the time? Is it Katrina? Oh, I have been saying Karina. Sorry. So Katrina. Yes, we'll talk about yeah, Jahil boy. When you hear them kind of figures, you just be like, huh. But I'm saying these things to inspire all of you, to let all of you know that technology is a real tool for revenue generation. It's a tool for revenue generation. I think one of the political parties was talking about um, utilizing technology to become to help young entrepreneurs do app development, and that's an excellent idea. This Facebook app was able to generate 30 billion US dollars in the space of 1 to 2 months, where countries of the world came crashing. Do you all know what our yearly or annual budget is? How much is based on? Tell me how much. Tell me how much Trinidad and Tobago's annual budget is based on. How much money? Jahil, you know? Nobody knows. So our no answers. I'm about to type. I'm about to type. I'm about to type. Okay, so our annual budget is usually between 50 to 60 billion US dollars. Is it US dollars? No, I think our is it US dollars, boy? No, that's TT dollars. Sorry. Let me correct this. Let me correct this. How do you retract a comment, guys? All right, Bradley on. All right. No, no, Kavita P. I think it's actually in TT dollars. Our budget is based in TT dollars. It's not based in US dollars. The only thing that they look at US dollars is the foreign revenue from energy reserves. So Our budget is TT dollars. So imagine Facebook was able to generate almost two times our annual budget, our annual income revenue budget in the space of 2 months. And that's because they have an app that the entire world uses. They have an app that is continuously improving. They have an app that is continuously engaging more and more customers. And because of this platform, because of this free thing called internet, yes, correct. We base we base our export revenue from oil and manufacturing in US dollars. But remember when the finance minister does the budget is in TT dollars. The budget, yes, the budget is in TT dollars, right? So this app has been able to generate this amount of income. And does anyone know what was Facebook's solution to the problem of not being able to go to work and go to school? What was it? What was Facebook's solution to not being able to go work in office and school? What was Facebook's solution? We had, let me do let the cat out of the bag. What was it, guys? So we're using YouTube right now because I can't come and have a class with you all in Mount 2 as I did last year. So we're using YouTube as a medium to teach, to interact, work from home. Yes, Alyssa George, what's the name of it? Yes, what's the name of it? Facebook had I want correct answers. I want correct answers. So Kavita P close. Bradley is no, not live. Jahil is close. Samantha C is yes, working remotely. Yes, Biana, why you, can you all tell me, show me how to retract a message? I don't know how to retract a message. I see you all able to do this, and how come I not able to do this? Oh, remove. Okay, I'm seeing it now. Okay, got it. Found it. Found it. Meeting rooms. That's meeting rooms. Meeting rooms is Microsoft. Hover over comment. No, yeah, there's something on the side here. It's called Facebook chat rooms, guys and gals. Chat rooms. And if you go on your Facebook app right now, you'll see the option. It's the same Messenger app, and it's now called chat room. So you can have, yes, messenger rooms. Okay. But they call it chat rooms. I looked at the launch, and he called it chat rooms. So I yes, Alice, I realized how to do it. So yes, it's called Facebook chat rooms. And what's Facebook chat rooms came out because what was the only one of the most popular software available for having this type of discussion. My battery is running low. What was the other one that was most prominent in having these type of discussions? Zoom, that's right. And we may be Shanice, yeah, back in the dance. We may be using Zoom. Hold on 1 minute. We may be using Zoom in the future to do some more teaching. If I can, and also Blackboard house party. What is house party? Jahil, where's house party? All right. So anyway, while Jahil is explaining what is house party, I'll continue on. So I hope I would have emphasized the point to all of you that as small business, as entrepreneurs, you need to be web savvy, you need to be social media savvy, you need to utilize the tools that are available to you at very low cost for promoting your business, for establishing your brand, for improving efficiency, for being effective. All right? I am encouraging all of you to remember this as a very important thing, as a very important thing where you can propel yourself. Okay, Jahil is Leandra, you're explaining for Jahil. The app where you can play games and stuff with friends in a room. Okay, I'm not sorry, not too familiar with that. Maybe it's ball head, maybe it's a little um, way after my time. I generally wasn't playing much games. That's video games, right? I don't have a PS3. I don't have an Xbox. Sorry, I'm another game guy. He means I was party by him next weekend. BYOB. Alexis, what's going on? Um, what's BYOB again? All right. You all want to finish the class on a nice entertaining note. Bring your own bottle. Maybe when all this is over and I could come to your graduation, we will have one. Um, right. So let's continue the lecture before we finish up for today. Right. Um, Managing a growing business. So organizing in the first two stages, it's very informal. You are not having real structured organization. You are It's very, very informal. It's as you go. It's one. You have one person maybe doing so many things. Sometimes you're the only person in your business. At the third stage is where, at success stage, is where functional managers are usually hired. Now, from a small business perspective, while that might be a very good thing or something desirable, sometimes at the success stage, you're still not in a position to financially afford a functional manager. Supply and demand economics again would say if your economy is tough and people are out of work, a functional manager may cost a little less to have, meaning traditionally a manager may earn a salary of $10,000, but because the economy is bad and there are so many persons out of work, that same person might accept a salary of $7,000. So it can bring your own bottle of hand sanitizer. Only on kicks, yes. Um, so it you can, and it's encouraged to have functional managers, yes, but you may not be able to afford it. And then at other times you may be able to afford it. Rules and regulations, procedural manuals are in place at the third stage. And what's that rule and manual called? What's that rule manual called? Rules, manuals, um, right? Procedures. What's that called? For those of you who would mean summer, I would have mentioned this in one of those classes for sure. Rules, manuals, procedures, code of conduct. Yes, but yes, code of conduct, Kavita P, but not completely what I'm looking for. Rules, procedures, manuals, code of conduct. Okay. Protocols, yes. Protocols yes, but it's not the term I'm looking for. I'm looking for a particular phrase that's used in management to describe rules, manuals, procedures. And we're talking about the success stage where things are settling and things are getting more organized, things are getting more, I was about to say the word, etiquette in the workplace. Yes. All right, Teresa, we're getting somewhere. Standards of operations. Yes, but that's not completely it. So you have one word, correct there. You have two words there. You have two words there. So can someone help Teresa get to the rest? It's a phrase. It uses standard. It uses operation. So what's the phrase we're looking at with rules and procedures? Standard or procedure. You're close. You're close. Biana, you're on point. You got it. Very good. Standard operating procedures. SOPs. Operational Operational start. All right. Yeah. Nice, nice, nice way to work around the word. But Biana got it right. It's called SOPs. And SOPs are standard operating procedures that, as a small business, although you might be a small business, although you might even be a micro enterprise, it's always good to have standard operating procedures that are documented and written and in a manual form, like a manual, like a book, manual or a book, right? For employees, potential employees, or current employees to make reference to whilst engaging in a particular task. So your standard operating procedures come into the third stage, and it's very important. So thank you, Teresa. You definitely lighted the dance this morning with all your answers. So good. And right, the later stages, you have delegation. So that's when things nice at your plateau phase, at your what's the other phases there? Right, at your takeoff and your plateau phase, you can now delegate responsibilities to different groups, different persons. Have your projects. We did projects yesterday. So with your SOPs in hand, with your high performance teams, right? All of those things at a later stage in your growing business. All right, and you can outsource as well. You can outsource certain things that may not be part of your operations. It could be janitorial services. It could be maintenance services. It can be some people even outsource their human resource. Right? Let me just put that in there. Outsource human resource. And in the energy industry in particular, this is actually commonplace where you have contractors and they call them manpower or labor contractors. So these are companies that provide a large international client with a group of employees from management all the way down to tool pusher in the energy industry. So you can actually outsource human resources as well. All right. So just take note that that is a very much a possibility in having an organization as well. You can outsource your human resources and outsource many things. Outsource IT, outsource your financial component of your organization, the person who's doing your accounts, your taxes. So outsourcing. And leading in the early stages, it's the leader's vision that is so important. And let me watch all of you who are starting this business, you are the leader of this business. You and your vision is very important from the beginning, because you must first of all convince yourself that this is working, this is going to work. So when you have a junior, a subordinate, or someone you're about to hire, they can buy into that vision and they can understand what your vision is and what you want to achieve. So your vision is very important. Um, by the success stage, it must be able to motivate employees and bring in managers who can do the job. Leading is active communication, constantly being active and communicating with everyone. Leadership is important because so many small firms have a hard time hiring qualified employees. That's right. Small firms have issues in getting the amount of money to pay qualified employees. We mentioned it earlier. You want to hire a functional manager at stage 3, but you simply don't have the funds. Yes, you might be doing well, but the amount of revenue that you are generating versus the expenses, your operating expenses, still does not give you wiggle room to hire a functional manager. So your leadership as the entrepreneur is very important in ensuring that it is done, that you reach and you go through all the different stages of growth. And finally, controlling. Important at all stages. You can't be in existence and your expenses are way more than your revenues. You need to look at your income statement on a monthly basis or as regular as you can to ensure that there is financial controls. So some simple accounting records by the third stage having operational budgets and structured control systems. All of this is part of the controlling arm in managing a growing business. We spoke about we spoke about planning, we spoke about leading, we spoke about technology, and now we're talking about controlling. Very, very important in ensuring that your business is sustainable. So the controlling is very important for sustainability. All right. So, guys, gals, at the end of today's class, I see I have 29 students logged on. Impressed. So, are there any questions? Any queries? Any disagreements? And as soon as I said I have 29 students, I've lost one. All right. So, I hope you all enjoyed today's lecture. Teresa, Biana, Alexis, Kavita P, Kavita R, Samantha C, Samantha A, Geeta, Bradley, Jahil, Leandra, Shanice, Alyssa. All of you, I hope, Precious, Faria. Am I missing out anyone? No, I'm not missing out anyone. Katrina, I hope you had enjoyed today's lecture. Um, Let me know if there's any questions, any queries. I have a next class starting. I'm gonna ask class to start at 10:20. Any questions, any queries, guys? Good. It was some wonderful discussions. It was some wonderful discussions regarding, especially that advertising part that we spoke about today. Um, and that's the type of analysis that I want you to be able to do when you're writing an exam. Think about it. Give it some thought. Not necessarily the first thing that comes to mind is always correct. I'm not saying to introduce self-doubt. Business plan, you gotta, well, the business plan actually is going to be, you can only do the business plan after we have covered business plan. So only after we do the business plan in class, we go through it, then you all will be required to submit the business plan. Maybe I'll have to look and see how the courses run because I believe I was hoping to get your business plan in by October 21st. All right, good. So, guys, have a good day. See you all. I'm seeing Jahil in the next 15 minutes. So, for the others, I'll see you all next week. Have a good day. All right.